Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Positively Awesome Wrestling Show. It is yours truly, Jimmy Bay, and I am joined, as always, to my partner to the right of me, Albert. Albert, how the heck have you been, and how have you been enjoying wrestling this week heading into the Backlash?
Well, I'm not in my car this week, so it's a really good start already. But yeah, things are going really well. I'm really loving the direction of a lot of things. I'm excited for Backlash this weekend. It looks, like it's going to be fun. Should be a fun show.
Yes.
The card's shaping up to be interesting. I hear a lot of rumblings and complaints. I also hear a lot of good things. I try to steer towards the good things, and I'm very excited to see what we got coming up.
So I've heard no complaints. I was a little worried because in one of my group chats, everyone just hates Pat McAfee. So after the thing got made, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to hear about this. And they've actually kind of switched their opinion on it because they're like, man, I'm actually interested in this. And I'm like, yeah, when Pat McAfee's not being a bumbling idiot, he's actually really good. He just gotta tone it back a little bit sometimes. Yeah. Let's get these comments out the way and we will jump into the show. Courtney is there. Hey, what is up? Thank you for joining as always. We got Harry up in the chat, our unofficial member that is our stat guy. Hey yo, from the FWL champion. Oh, so it's over. I get no updates anymore, so I don't even know what's going on. I'm assuming I finished very close second. That's what I'll say.
I think you were in third overall.
Ignorance is bliss. Ron's in the chat. Hello, friend. No, hello to you, buddy. It is always good to see you in the chats. Amanda up in there. Guys, you are looking good. And she says, hey, the car lighting was so good, though, now, Albert. So
I appreciate that.
It wasn't all bad.
Listen, if you liked it, it might have to come back a couple of times until, over the next month or so, because I've got a bunch of rehearsals I got to have.
Huge on lighting. Huge on it. Like when I first started, she's like, you got to do this and you got to do this. And she got me lights and blah, blah, blah. And with the office, the window is like aimed right at me. So it's like, I don't even need to use light in here. We just open it and the lighting. And she's like, oh, it's beautiful lighting. Photographer. That's why.
Listen,
car lighting.
being on movie sets, I have never understood how important lighting was until I was there. And then I went, holy crap, look what a big difference this makes. I'm 100% with her.
Her photography stuff was like eye-opening for me. I was like, oh, lighting makes that kind of a difference. Lou is in the chat. He goes, I love Punter Pat. What is up, boys? What is up with you? And Harry says Gunther should wreck Pat. We will get into it because we're going to go over the Backlash card in just a few. But before we get to Backlash, I want to talk about the man on the poster, as they say, Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso, the Yeet Man, the World Yeet Champion, whatever we're going to call him. I don't know. There's lots of names.
Heavy-YEET Champion.
That's it. I knew I messed it up.
There you go.
But I will say, as someone who has constantly been like not with it, and I've made it clear, I don't dislike Jey Uso. I don't think he doesn't deserve it. Everything, like he deserves it all. He's not bad. Just wasn't for me. This past week is everything I love about Jey Uso. And the more I see this kind of spread thin, the more I'm coming to appreciate what he's doing. We praised him before WrestleMania about the story, how it's been like this 4-year journey to get to here. And it's, if you look back on it, it's really good. It's very underrated, I guess. But I think
underappreciated.
There you go. That's the word. Because I don't think really grasp the whole picture. They're just looking at the last few months as opposed to like the last 40 years. And it was really, and I was like, okay, no, this is really good. But when Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, the Paul Heyman come out there and, baited him in, and they were like, oh, and even
that promo Paul cut, by the way.
Yes. And even though it was part of Seth's plan and all that, for Jey to step up the way he did, cut the yeet out, get real serious, and come across as not just a world champion, but the man. Like he didn't back down 1 second, and I believed that he believed that it wasn't, that night wasn't going to be Seth's night. It was no lack of confidence coming from him. And man, Jey Uso has been incredible to watch, at least over the last 2 years. Even before then, yes, but since the single run has started, he's been incredible to just watch transform from will he break out of this tag team thing to now officially me saying, no, he's the man. Like, it's been incredible. And I know you've been on the bandwagon for a while. There's no convincing you. You've been there. You're ahead of the curve, at least on the show. So I don't know if I've ever given you the chance to really gloat about the man or show him the love that you think he deserves. But I wanted to open up this week by talking about that because, my God, I was totally invested. And he faced Seth Rollins on Monday, and I was going for Jay. I never thought I'd see that day.
Yeah. So. I think there's a point where in the Gunther feud where they showed their hand of what they can do with Jey Uso as a world champion babyface. And in my opinion, for me, it cemented it even more for me. Everybody knows I'm the biggest Gunther fan in the world. He's probably like my favorite guy on the roster right now. We'll talk about him and Pat McAfee in a little while. But even I wanted Jey Uso to win at WrestleMania because there was this part of catching lightning in a bottle that WWE doesn't do too often. And I'm going to make a comparison, and people are going to get mad about it, but I don't care if people get mad about things. But there's a lot of comparisons that you can make with Jey Uso and The Rock. And
I'm lighting my pitchfork right now.
There we go.
Just joking.
There's this part where there's the majority of fans who love the entrance, right? The yeeting, all that kind of stuff. It's great.
Time. One more time. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. Crazy. It's nuts every single week. It's nuts. But there's also that point where Rock then would get serious and come out and bust somebody's ass. And Jey Uso has towed that line the past couple of weeks, and they're doing this really good duality where they'll open the show, and Jey will do his whole yeet thing. But when he comes to the ring now, he's not coming out through the crowd every week. He's coming out down the aisle. He's toning it down. He's taking things seriously.
Yeah.
Jey has had these tools since the beginning. And I think everybody was all about it until it actually happened because wrestling fans have this perception of it, what I want never happens. And then when that thing actually happens, it's like, oh my God, I don't like this, The other comparison I was going to make with The Rock too, is that it's this lightning in the bottle situation. Jey Uso is so over. I mean, so over. Yeah. And they pulled the trigger. And The Rock, when he got really, really popular and started catching on, WWE was like, all right, let's ride this out. Let's see where this goes. I don't know if Jey Uso's your world champion for more than 4 or 5 months, but I don't even care. The fact that he got there shows how over and how much work and dedication can take you and how far it can take you. I think this is a great story. I'm very much looking forward to look, the match with Seth. I think it shut everybody up, right? He's one catchphrase. He can't wrestle. Yeah. Okay. And look, I know you haven't been, you aren't on Twitter anymore, but you know that there's a lot of people who are doing the whole, well, Seth carried. Yeah, you know what? Whatever. You can say whatever you want.
Partner.
but he had a good match at WrestleMania with Gunther too. And he had really good matches that, when he was Intercontinental Champion. Everybody just wants to be selective about what they see. Yes, he had that one bad match at WrestleMania. Okay, great. He hasn't had a crappy match since then.
I'll say this: he's hitting his stride at the perfect.
Yes,
moment. He got crowned, and now it's like the Seth match right here. I was puzzled. I was at the edge of my seat.
Oh, I know.
My goodness, when I didn't think that Jey was going to lose the title. I just didn't. They've already announced Jey versus Logan Paul, and it would be kind of wild for them to just kind of pull the rug out from under that last minute, the week of the show. Unless Jey got injured, and he went but then he had that match. I was like, no, he's not losing the title.
Yeah,
but he made me believe, and this is on him, and not just Seth, but it's on him. He made me believe that he was going to lose at certain points of that match, and that's fantastic in-ring psychology. And I think people get lost on it's move, and that makes you a great wrestler. And it's like, no, that's part of it. But the psychology is where the moves come into play, and where Jey don't have the move set that most of these other guys does. he knows when to use things, how to use them effectively, and how to really, again, get you emotionally invested. Like, I thought for sure he was the 3 was coming at one point. I was like, oh, even though I was like, he's not losing, but I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, and he kicked, and I was like, oh my God, thank goodness.
The stomp, the spear counter into the pedigree.
The stomp one got me. The spear counter was great. I think that might have been the best looking one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hey, that's not on, like, Seth executed it, but everyone else hasn't looked that good, so that has to be on Jay. He has to get
it right
there.
Right.
I think he's hitting the stride at the right moment, and I thought he'd be a champion for the summer, but I think he should be champion going into the fall at this point.
Yeah.
I think you got to ride that lightning because he hasn't lost any steam, and he's just, like, again, it's not that he's getting better. I think everything's clicking at the right moment for him. So it's like, ride
lightning in a bottle.
I love him. And
yes,
we don't even talk about his promos because when he could do the fun ones with the yeet, with the crowd participation. But man, when he gets serious, I don't think there's anybody that's much better than him.
He's so believable.
There's maybe less than a handful of people that I think emotionally with just that raw energy that are better than him. It's very, very, very few. So happy for the guy. I wanted to give him his flowers for a change. Excellent match with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Excellent match with him. And just, I'm excited to see where he goes after Logan Paul.
I like by the way, I want to just throw this out there. We're talking about Backlash. I like that. I don't like that they did this after the show went off the air, but I like the post-match business with Logan Paul decking Jay. But why is that not on television?
That's how they're utilizing the internet, though, because it drives clicks and interest online. Because remember, Kevin Owens turned heel online. It wasn't on the show.
I know. That's true. That's true.
It's new age. We're in a new age.
I guess, yeah.
Those old guys in the front yard telling people, get off our lawn. It's like, I just feel like we need to kind of just roll with it. And
my thing is that they're on a streaming service, though. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know, maybe I'm thinking
touch every bit of it, though. They're trying to get them YouTube. They're trying to get the Twitter. They're trying to get everything across the board. So Lewis said Heyman's promo was fine. Yeah, man, I was worried for him. I was like, dude, he's about to have a heart attack. He's going so hard.
So I've been thinking about this. You know how, and I get it. The idea is to try to drive premium subscribers to Netflix, right? So that you don't get commercials, so you can get these things that they're doing in between. But they really should start airing these promos like as they're going on, like on Twitter or something like that. Get some engagement up, because there's some stuff that looks like we're missing, like cross-cut promo, Kaiser cut a promo.
I have to go on YouTube now and watch them the next day. And
right.
Because again, in my group chat, it's people from overseas, and they'll be like, so you're watching commercials right now? Because I'm watching this promo by so-and-so. And I'm like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
I agree. Said he thought for a second Seth would win. He did it. Ron has a hot take here. He thinks Jay may be more over than The Rock. Currently, I don't know. I
don't know if okay, with wrestling fans, yes.
I think crowd reactions, yes, but he's not, as they say, a needle mover like The Rock. It's just not even close. I'm sorry. But as far as the reactions, yeah, for sure, because Jay does it on a week-to-week basis, and that is not easy. Those things, they dwindle real quick, and his hasn't. So it's crazy. That's why I can't fathom why anybody just doesn't jump on The Rock. Like, you're wrong. You think Jay doesn't belong where he's at. You're just wrong.
Well, and people have said that. And the thing is that, look, even when there was that whole, let's go Cena sucks thing. Yes, there was a lot of people online that were in the very much, Cena sucks camp. But this reactions in the arena were 50-50 too. They're not with Jey Uso.
No.
They are strong no matter where they go. And everybody who sits there and says that they're a hater of this guy, either they're just saying that they're a hater, and when they get there, they're just like, oh, this is so much fun. The hell with it. I'm just going to do it. And oh, okay, so wait, it's fun. You're participating in it. But then what? You don't like it after? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like,
I'm going to go ahead and throw some names out here that are probably that would probably piss some people off.
Do it.
To compare them to. Because I don't know. I'm not going to say I was the first person to say it, but I likened the Yeet stuff when it first started happening to the Yes movement. The story's not the same, but the reaction is like the crowd is that invested. So Daniel Bryan, Diamond Dallas Page in WCW, and if you weren't around to see it, then I'm sorry, but go back. That dude was just incredibly over.
Yes, the People's Champion.
It was insane. And Stone Cold Steve Austin. These are the three that I think had the longevity of these kinds of crowd reactions over time. Like, that just was like, man, they're just not dying. What's going on? This is crazy. And I think Jey Uso's at that level. That's wild that I'm even putting him in the same sentence as Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's crazy. But this
is something that's hard to do. And
I think I take my blinders off. I think that's what I've done here. I've taken my blinders off. I've understood that wrestling has evolved. I accept it. I embrace it, and I just go along for the ride. And it helps. And you could say I'm just taking whatever they give me, but again, how can I say that Jey Uso doesn't belong when every single week those tens of thousands of customers who pay their hard-earned money are going crazy for him? Money talks.
Yes, it does.
Like the idea of it or not, it's true. It talks. If he's not good, he's not going to make money. That's how it works. So,
and then the other thing is that, you're talking with money. It's not that he's just moving merchandise. It's that he's consistently in the top merchandise movers. And yes, people can do it all the time.
Paul Heyman, like, he's not just selling merch. He's pushing tickets.
Right.
Jey Uso is that guy. So, fans would absolutely cheer Jey over Rock. Oh, for sure. If you did Jey versus Rock,
Rock's the heel.
For sure. Even if they don't want it to be. Like, it would be one of those scenarios where The Rock gets his feelings hurt again and has to be like, well, I guess we got to readjust now because they're cheering Jey over me. I don't disagree with that at all. And Drew beat Seth on a random Raw. I think, wasn't that during the COVID era though, where there was no fans or anything, so it was like they were just throwing anything at the wall. I don't think you can compare the two, but you're right. And it could happen, but not with Jey being where he's at.
Can I just want to take a small divergence real quick, because that comment just made me think. So obviously the old saying was anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation. That's what Vince always used to say. Do you know that? I think it's either as of today or yesterday, it's officially the WWE longer than it's it was WWF. And I have instinctively reached for my walker or my cane to get up out of my chair because I have never felt so old in my entire life. Crazy. Crazy.
I it's not something I like think about, but when you say it, it's like, wow, that's
right. Because the thing is that, like, we think back all the time to being like, oh man, in the old WWF with like Bruno Sammartino and Bob Backlund, and we think that like that was like, I don't know how long we in our minds we think that was, because it was before we were born, obviously, and so it's just really funny to think that it was only I think it was 1973 they officially became the World Wrestling Federation.
1979.
1979. Okay, there you go.
And then,
so there you go. Like, it's crazy. It's been 2002, I believe. It was WWE.
2000, middle of 2002. It became WWE. That's long.
It's unbelievable, right?
Quick, before we get to our backlash, Harry Flint, El Grande won the Speed title.
Gracias.
That's great.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I love it. I think I want to talk about El Grande and Chad Gable next week.
Yes. Can we?
Next week, it's definitely on the table because I'm tired of not talking about it.
I love it.
I've been so against the booking of Chad Gable since Triple H took over, and this has been like a complete just 180.
This is the best thing he's done.
It's
so unbelievable. Everything he does, he kills it. All right, we're going to get sidetracked. Let's not get into it.
Yeah, I know. I'm stopping myself.
I'm going to stop myself.
I'm not going to go into this one, but I agree. I've stated this many times, and I've been called a hater for it and all this other stuff.
I agree too.
I mean, I've even come up with solutions and was told I was an idiot for it. So, like, whatever. Like, I agree, and it's why I'm just not that invested in AEW anymore. I'll tune in when I can or when I don't have anything to do. But if I don't know, want to go watch a movie or there's something else on TV, that's what I do send my attention to. So, Let's see. Patiently waiting to. Lewis says, patiently waiting to see Roman's new faction. This upcoming feud with Heyman's faction. It's coming. It's true. Oh, it's damn true. I don't know anything about this. I know you said something about it last week, Lou. So I'm kind of in the dark on it, and I'm just gonna wait to see when it happens and how it unfolds. And I feel like I'm back in the late '90s as a fan again, where I'm going in blind on so many things, and it's just exciting again.
It's so much more fun that way.
Yeah. And when I see things pop up like on other social media things, I just exit and snooze them, so I don't see it anymore. I've literally tried my damnedest to just hide everything wrestling related other than this show, the things I see, and then the things my friends send in the group chat. And even then, I kind of gauge what they're talking about to see if it's something I even want to click before I even touch it. Like if it's news related or whatever, I'm like, no, I don't care. If it's fan reaction to something, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. But if it's like El Grande, the speed time, I'm like, yes, I want to know about this one right here. And yes, good shout, Harry.
Yes.
Rusev and Otis did have a good match. They made Rusev look strong. I'm still not sold on Rusev being back, but I'll give it a try. I liked what I saw. It was Redeemer. It wasn't even Rusev. It was Miro, and that's great. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And the Redeemer in AEW was awesome.
Right.
So,
I think we can all agree the best man stuff sucked. Yes. The Redeemer was great, and then he disappeared. So
why, I don't know. I don't really care at this point because I'm living in the moment. I'm not doing all that other boo-ha nonsense. Next week, also Amanda says next week also the Gunther versus Chad story, and that I'm still. You're never gonna get closure on it because they just dropped the ball on it, and that's why I was so mad about it. Because I was like, "What are we doing?" He swore to God he was gonna take that title off Gunther, and then they said, "No, you're not." No. What? It's not okay. You're 1,000% correct. I've said this many, many times. It's not okay.
It's not.
It's not bullshit.
I agree.
But let's go back to Backlash. We're going to start the Backlash show because I think we have the whole show, but we'll go ahead and start this off. We have one more TV show before we get to the official Backlash show.
Right. There's always a chance we can get something added.
So with a 5-match card, which is the typical norm for everything that's not WrestleMania, do you see them adding another match before Backlash? And if so, what is the match?
No, actually, I really don't think. I mean, there was a part of me that thinks that maybe they're going to do something. They're going to save obviously Punk and Seth. I'm a little upset because we're going into Money in the Bank and it doesn't look like we're getting Punk versus Cena. And I'm a little upset about that. But no, I think we've got our card.
Okay, that's fair. I do too. I don't think they're adding any matches. The comments right here real quick. Harry says Aleister Black versus Hayes. I think that's a match that you could set up this week for next week and just have that be again pushed as like, oh, tune in next week to see these two collide. Give them the shine, and because if you throw them on Backlash, they're not going to get. I don't think they're going to get nearly the time they should if they weren't a big match on SmackDown. And I've said this in the past. I think one of the things that Triple H does that doesn't get enough credit is he's turned matches that happen on television to be more important than they used to be. Like they're promoted sometimes 2 weeks in advance. And it's not the whole show because I don't like it when they do the whole show. I think it's good when they just say these are 1 or 2 matches that are going to happen and then let everything else unfold.
Right.
And I think with how Aleister Black has came in, he did the Miz thing. They teased him and Hayes. I think tease him again this week, push it for next week. Okay, I got to tune in next week to watch that match because it will be a fantastic match.
Yes.
Backlash, Ron says, used to be notorious for WrestleMania rematches. I like how we are doing things. I'm okay with like 1 or 2. Again, I'm okay. They got rid of the WrestleMania in front of it, which I was never like a big hater of. I got it. It is the Backlash of WrestleMania, so I mean, why not milk that a little bit more?
Sure.
But if they're not doing rematches, I'm not mad about it either. It's fine. Yeah. And then Ron says he appreciates the slow burn of the Solo Jacob buildup. Yeah. Don't Again, that's another thing Triple H does really well. He doesn't just blow the load right out the gate. He's like, no, we're gonna. Sometimes it takes too long. Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, but other times I think that's the only one that I think been stretched out way too thin.
Yeah,
Harry says he misses pay-per-view pre-show matches. I do to an extent. I think you could do one.
Yeah,
give the fans who show up to the arena early something to watch other than listening to the DJ before the show starts. That would be cool.
I will die on this hill. I don't. They have the network. Now they have Netflix. They have all this place to put content. There should be a Sunday Night Heat. I don't care. I know they do the pre-show and yada, yada, yada. There should be a Sunday Night Heat. I miss Sunday Night Heat. An hour WWE show, some of it recap, like 1 or 2 matches, and then, on pay-per-view weeks, you promote, everything, and it'd be like, hey, Sunday Night Heat on the week of the pay-per-view, and that can be like a major, and that would be a perfect spot, like Harry's saying, for an Aleister Black versus Carmelo Hayes.
I don't know if I'd want to put that on that one. I think if I'm going to do a show like that, and again, this is just us having different opinions on it.
Sure,
I think if I was going to do a show like that, I would want it to be for the talent that's not getting TV time. Like,
so I agree.
Hey, a Rusev versus Akira Tozawa. Like, I know that's not going to be anything crazy, but throw that on Sunday Night Heat and allow Tozawa to actually have a match with him.
No. I'm okay with that. Like, I'm saying, I would say, most of the time that's what it would be. But I'm saying, like, on pay-per-view weeks.
Okay, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
Then you throw like a bigger match on there, and then it makes it almost like it's like, okay, this is like the kickoff. Like, it would be the kickoff show, right? So it'd be like the kickoff to the pay-per-view.
So is it Sunday Night Heat or is it just like Sunday Night Heat?
No, I think it would still be Sunday Night Heat. It's just that one pay-per-view
Saturday.
All right, so then it would have to be, Saturday Night Heat.
Okay. That's why I was just trying to get the logistics of it all. And yeah, that's fine. That'd be cool. So yeah, since neither one of us, I think if there is a match that gets added, I think it's a Tiffany Stratton women's title match, whether it be a 4-way or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see them doing something like that. Yeah,
but much like Hayes and Aleister, I think that would be something they pushed off to next week to promote it for the post Backlash show to again give it more time to build and give you a reason to tune in next week. That's right. How I think it will, but it wouldn't surprise me if they added it to Backlash. And then Harry says, then it's Shotgun Saturday Night, duh.
There we go. Fair enough to me.
Hey, we figured it out. We got there. Thank you.
So I will say this. Is it not crazy that Charlotte's disappeared again?
I'm not mad about it.
Just throwing it out there. Just saying.
I'm not mad about it. So let's go to the main show, and I'm going to try and pick the order here. I'm not going to get it right. There's no way. But why not give it a try? I think we are going to open it up with the Intercontinental Championship. Dirty Daddy Dominic Mysterio, your greatest luchador and Intercontinental Champion, taking on Penta, the wannabe greatest luchador of all time and never to be Intercontinental Champion. I think this one opens. I think it could be a lot of fun, high action, get the flow of the show going. You said you wanted to talk about Dominic Mysterio to an extent here, so the floor is yours, sir. Let's talk about it.
First and foremost, I love that the Intercontinental Championship is being put on a PLE. I think this shows how over Dominic Mysterio is.
I was going to say, and who do we have to thank for that, baby?
Yes, absolutely. Look, I love Braun Breaker. I think he's getting his just due right now in this, and everything with Seth. But I think they see Dominic as a draw. And I think that's why they're putting him on a PLE. And I think, big ups to Dom for, his character work being so good to be, to elevate the Intercontinental Championship to be on a PLE. I also think that this doesn't solely have to do with Dom. I think Penta is the perfect opponent. And I think they really have done a very good job in pushing Penta as a very formidable character on their TV show. I think they've been doing a great job with him on Raw. So really good match here. But I will say this. This week we saw AJ Styles, first of all, blatantly break into the clubhouse. I mean, just absolutely ridiculous. The disrespect. That was just disrespectful. And then your boy Dom asked my boy Finn Balor to take care of business. And what did he say? What did he do? He said, of course, Dom, I got you. Now, how ironic is it that Dominic wears cows on his, on his gear, because the internet and cows are very similar, and they just like to stir up beef. All we've gotten this whole time is Finn's going to turn on Dom. Finn's going to turn on Dom. And what happens? Dom asks Finn for a favor, and immediately Finn says, sure.
He didn't immediately say that.
He joked with him at first.
Boy. Of course I will, Dom.
Because brothers mess with each other, right? That's what happens.
It's coming.
It's beautiful. I think it's a very beautiful thing. Like I said, cows and the internet have that one thing in common. They serve beef. And that's all we're getting. We're getting a whole bunch of beef for nothing. There's nothing there. They're trying to imply that there's something there. No, Finn's just a good brother. He's been very supportive. He was out there for Dom's match. Come on.
Lou says, "Oh, for the Christ," with this Dominic crap, and then he's like, he loves the dude. Of course you do. Every time we go through this, I sit there and praise somebody, and it's not even just Lou. It's literally all my friends. They're like, "Man, this person sucks," and then time goes by, and then all of a sudden they're like, "You was right. You was right. Dominic the GOAT." Braun Breaker wishes he could be the draw the Dirty Daddy Dominic Mysterio is. And that's why Dominic's on a PLE, the very first PLE since winning that title. They're like, got to put him on. He's that big of a deal. He's the future of this company.
And the last time he was offended on a PLE was at WrestleMania, which Dom won. He was in that match too.
If Dom wasn't in it, that would have been a Raw match, baby. Bank on it.
Just saying.
So let's talk about what you were talking about. Finn's gonna turn on him soon.
It's coming eventually. Obviously, it's coming eventually.
And I hate to even bring up this bit of history, but do you remember the last time Finn and AJ were together?
Was that the Bray? That whole Bray ordeal?
I was gonna say, do you remember who else was with them?
Liv Morgan.
Yeah. And when AJ walked in, he said, "What's up, Prince?" Like they still buddy, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then Finn my heart is on the verge of breaking here if this goes through the way I think it's going to go through. But it don't matter because Dom will come through on top like he always does, and we're not here to talk about that. We'll talk about that when we get to that bridge. We'll talk about it. Right now, we're talking about Penta and how he's about to get schooled in the art of luchadorism when Dominic Mysterio whoops him once again to continue to be the greatest Intercontinental Champion and luchador of all time. I'm not going to say any more because, again, I'll ramble and we'll go in and won't be able to talk about the other matches. Dirty Daddy Dominic Mysterio is winning this match easily and continuing on his reign.
I'm a little scared. I'm a little scared.
A
little bit. And the only reason why is because Dom is, and it's the fault is Dom. Dom's such a good heel that I think that he can lose that championship to Penta and still be so super duper over that it doesn't make a difference. And I'm just scared that they could do that. I don't think so. Let me just say this. If we go ahead and cut the Mark shit off right now, and I'm talking to you realistically, I agree with you 100%. But I'm not with that shit. Dom Mysterio's gonna win, baby. I think so too. Look, I think so too. I really do. I think that they know what they have in Dom right now, and I think that they don't. But they're already teasing on SmackDown the Lucha Brothers getting back together. I don't know if everybody's catching that. They're teasing it, and I just don't think that they're going to put the title on Penta before because there's going to be a draft
and
soon.
Also, they've already teased AJ and Dom for the title with Finn being in the middle of it somehow. So it's like
right.
So again, that's why I'm very confident to sit here and be like, Dom's going to whoop his butt. Of course,
I think Dom wins. I think there's going to be some interference. I think El Grande might come out and interfere again, but the speed champion, he'll run out very fast because he's faster than anybody else because he's the speed champion. He's a luchador.
El Grande should be the newest member of the Judgment Day. Oh my goodness, that would be the greatest thing of all time.
Oh my God, not Gable, just El Grande. Yes. That would be incredible.
Gable is still part of
American Name.
At one point, they're feuding with each other. Oh, son, give me the book, man.
Why don't we write for this show?
Dale says, hey, guys, first time, long time. Why wouldn't Dom become the top dog in AAA? Because I think that is a perfect scenario for El Grande Americano.
Oh, my God, yes.
And then it literally ends with El Vikingo getting put over in
right.
Like that's exactly how I would do it, and I wouldn't be shocked if something along those lines happens. Matter of fact, El Grande Americano is so damn good that WWE went out and purchased AAA just so he had somewhere to go do his luchador.
Right.
That's why they bought AAA. No, for other reason. They bought it for El Grande Americano. You heard what I said.
They saw that they said it in that package, right? They said he was banned from Mexico and stuff.
Lou said, "Hey, listen here, Drip Jerk. I never said you right. You've told me I was right plenty of times. Plenty of times." Ron says, from returns to heel turns to debuts, new feuds, WWE did a lot. Yes, they did. Yes, they picked up steam. Boom, boom, boom. Because everyone's like, oh, WrestleMania, blah, blah, blah. Get out of here. And
there's no hangover this year.
Yeah. The Raw after Mania was the best Raw after Mania, and I don't know how long.
In years, yeah.
It was the one I've been waiting for the last like 2-3 years. And
right, because we thought, Triple H is in charge. This is going to be nuts. And
it hasn't been.
It hasn't been.
He's thrown some duds out there, and it's like, this is really good. Yeah, I did see that Finn was talking to Roxanne Perez in the back. I don't think that's going to lead to anything. I think that's one of those things that gets people talking, kind of like Dom and Karrion Kross when they were talking, and just they do that a lot. And I think it's great because it throws people like, oh, I'm going to go down this rabbit hole, and then that rabbit hole leads to nowhere.
Nothing. Right.
Look over here so that when we do this, you're surprised.
How many times has it happened to us where we've gone into like 20-minute tirades of like, this is what's going to happen. I think it's going to go this way. And then it's exactly nothing as to what we talked about. It's great.
Harry says El Grande versus Chad in a cinematic match, please. Man.
Oh, yes.
Oh, man.
Harry
also says that every male speed champions are luchadors. Hey, if that's interesting, turn it into the cruiserweight and give us a cruiserweight division. Please.
Thank you.
Please. And El Grande, Shorty G. I'm not with the Shorty G one, but yes, El Grande is too much fun. And you can never have too much fun. So we'll move on to the next match. You're taking Dominic, though.
Yes.
Okay. We're both on the same page there. Good. Because I didn't want to have to slap you virtually.
Come on.
Next match. We're going to go with the one that is surprising me with the build, because I'm pretty shocked here of how good the build has been. Gunther versus Pat McAfee, and what is sure to be Pat McAfee's funeral. So, what have you thought about this feud so far?
There was a big part of me that thought to myself, well, what are they going to do with Gunther if he loses that title to Jey Uso? Like, I mean, he's just been this dominant champion. 80% of the time that he's been in the WWE, he's been a champion. What a crazy stat that is.
I think both of us even agreed that he was going to take a vacation after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And they didn't do
that. And not at all. I thought he was going to go away. I thought it would be like, okay, we're going to hit the reset button. He's going to come out. He'll attack somebody. He'll come back, and he'll get it, be on his path back to the title. There's a part of me that got scared, and I am still a little bit scared that WWE doesn't know what to do with Gunther when he's not a champion.
It's interesting to see what they're going to do with him.
Because we've never seen it before. Yeah. We don't know. Even when he's lost he lost the NXT UK championship, and he basically pivoted and went over to the NXT. Just went over to NXT.
Yeah.
He had a couple of feuds over there, and then he pivoted it onto the main roster. He was Intercontinental Champion. He lost the title. He didn't even get a rematch. He pivoted right away and became World Champion. We've just seen him be champion. So it's going to be very interesting. And I like that this is what they did, because this gives an extra layer to Gunther now.
Yes.
He's not just this badass. Now he's like, no. I'm not going to let you guys be clowns. I'm not going to let you guys, I'm the best wrestler in this company. And you're not going to sit there and be clowns and talk about this other guy and start rooting for this other guy and tell everybody you want this other guy to win when I'm the best damn wrestler here. And I love this.
Yeah. You're going to mock me? Oh,
right.
No, that does not work for me. This is not a clown show, and I'm not going to stand for it. And
absolutely. It's unbelievable. I love the gimmick that they did. I know that we weren't. I don't think we were here the week that this happened, but him. Yeah,
it may sound weird, but it does something emotionally that made me pop.
Yes,
jump in. That's not weird at all.
It's not.
It reminded me of when Samoa Joe stood up to Seth during who was it? Tom? I don't remember. I know it's not Haverford because I'm thinking Parks and Rec there. But Tom, I like the guy. I just don't remember what his name was. But he stood up for him to Seth Rollins, and I was like, "Oh hell yes, get him, Joe."
That's the guy who's doing TNA, I think now, right?
I think so. I'm not 100% sure. I liked him though. I thought him and Joe were a great underrated.
Yeah, Todd Phillips.
There we go. That's what it was. That's what it reminded me of.
Right. And it was the same thing back in the day. You saw that King would stand up for JR every once in a while when like a wrestler would get over there. And it's like, hey, we joke on each other, whatever. This is my.
Yeah. There's our guy.
Right. Tom Phillips. I said Todd Phillips. That's the director. But yeah, Tom Phillips. Yeah.
We're both and TV.
Right. And then same thing. If we remember, for that very brief amount of time, Mace from Dio Madden was a broadcaster.
I was going to bring that up, but he was such a bad commentator that I was just going to leave it out.
I did like because he's a big dude, and it was like, okay, let's go. And he got F5 through a table, and that was the end of him. But right, then he was in Retribution.
But yeah, I like it because these guys come across as buddies, and they're with each other a lot. So they're not even just buddies at this point; they kind of come across as brothers. So when one of them has experience in the ring, and the other one is getting bullied, it makes I want to see them stand up for him, because if not, then it's just kind of like, hey, you're a coward. You're not buddies. I don't want to see y'all interacting nicely anymore if you're not going to stand up for him. And it just kind of extends that realism to what they're doing on commentary. And I didn't like Pat McAfee's last match because I thought it was very similar to the other matches he's had. I don't have that fear at all.
Will not happen now. Match. Nope. Not now.
No.
Not even the slightest.
Hey, Lou says squash match. I don't think it'll be a squash match, but I wouldn't be disappointed in the least if it was. If it was just Gunther beating Pat senseless for 8 straight minutes. That would be great. I wouldn't be mad at it. But I'm invested because Pat, for the last 2 weeks, has got on that microphone. He may have gone a little long, but he has emotion. When he's not doing the whole goofy bullshit, I said at the beginning, he's good. And
absolutely.
He sold this match, not just the people who I know for a fact do not like the guy, but they're ready to watch this match now. So kudos to Pat and kudos to Gunther, because again, that promo he cut on Raw, whereas as simple as it may have been, it was terrifying. I would be terrified if I was Pat McAfee.
The end of it, only God himself can lift my arm from across your throat. Oh my God! I was like I'm scared for you, dude. And I love that Michael Cole, when he came back to the table, was like, do you know what you just did? You sure you know what you just did? Because damn, dude.
And then Pat even sold it there. He goes, I ain't gonna let that happen. He didn't just jump back into goofy nonsense. He's like, no, I ain't gonna let that happen. I'm with this. I'm your boy, and good stuff. It's really good. So no, it's not weird at all, Ron. I think it was done beautifully. Yeah. And then he brings up JBL taking that lariat from Brody Lee. I don't really remember this one, but that whole time period is a little fuzzy to me. I would like Pierce to hire Rusev to stop Gunther. Well, he already hired him, so I wouldn't be mad at seeing that one. I think it could be a fun boys beating each other up.
I'm also hoping that this Rusev, and similar to what Harry said, I'm also hoping that this Rusev gimmick leads us to something where he's almost like the singles version of the APA, where people just kind of go up to him and they're like, "Hey man, look at this goofball. You want to go take care of this guy for me?" It's like, okay, and just
Let's get moving. We're running we have 15 minutes left. Let's knock out 5 apiece. Next match up, the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Look at that. Big Time Bex comes back in that Intercontinental Championship, ends up on a pay-per-view. That's why she is the GOAT, baby. How are you feeling the feud, and are you excited for this match?
My biggest complaint about Lyra Valkyria for a very long period of time is that she just doesn't show personality. She's a very good wrestler, and I like the bird lady thing and the woo, and I think it's all cool and all, but then it's like, okay, I need more substance for you to make me believe that this is going to be the future of the WWE. Becky Lynch is drawn out of her. And these past 2 weeks, these past 2 promos that Lyra has cut have been absolutely unbelievable. They're the best promos she's cut, I think, in her career. I think she's doing great work. I think that Becky's definitely bringing out the best in her. I think that if you're going to push Lyra to the next level, I'm not even mad if she takes an L here and Becky wins the championship, and Lyra's got to fight from underneath, kind of like Bianca when when she lost the championship and had to come back to when she lost to Becky, actually had to come back to WrestleMania to win the championship back. I think that would be a great thing for Lyra to bookend this, is to win that belt back from Becky, to put her over that way, and maybe that's what turns Becky back babyface, because I think that's what a lot of people want to see. I think there's the one thing that my biggest problem with this feud is that they think that there are a lot of people who don't want to boo Becky Lynch yet. And I think that we might get a very similar to what we got at Cody and Cena. We might get that kind of a reaction.
Oh, for sure.
With this match, because Lyra, I don't think has reached that level of being that over yet to be, cheered over Becky. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I think the build has been great. I thought they maybe did the turn a little too soon, but I think that if they're going to say, hey, we're going to heat this up and we're going to do it, let's not drag this out. I think that, it's funny to me that people, you talk about it. Okay, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory. It's been a very long, drawn-out thing. Yeah. People are Solo and Jacob has been teasing animosity for like 4 months, and they haven't done it. Now they pull the trigger very fast, and people are like, "Oh my God, why did they do it?" Like it's like you win some, you lose some. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
So just roll with it and
screw
the noise.
I think this has been a great build. I think this is a great match. I think this elevates the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and I think this elevates Lyra Valkyria. I think it's a really good spot for Becky Lynch to come back in. I love everything they're doing with it.
Okay, so I'll say this. I agree with Lyra. She's fantastic in the ring, and that's why I said that for her Intercontinental title reign, I would literally just have her going out week after week after week and just having great matches.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think she had anything else to, I hate to say it this way, but offer for the fans to like get her over. I thought the best way to do it was to have her just wrestle, because she's great at that.
It's what they did with Io.
Yeah. Becky, I praise her for this every single time. There's nobody in the women's division that is able to get the absolute best out of her opponents and elevate them to another level. And it's why I consistently put her over everyone else. She just, I don't know what it is. She just knows how to do it. I'm very torn on this match because I think it could go either way.
Same.
Which is always exciting and fun. Like, I'm going to be invested because I'm a big Becky Lynch fan. I know Lyra's going to have a great match with her. They have history. The feud's been good. I'm not going to say it's been great. It's been good. I like that Lyra, again, she showed up. It was a sink or swim moment, and she's swimming. Yes. She's swimming with the shark right now. And Bayley is going to, I think so. I don't know if you feel this way. Bayley's going to be involved in this in some way, shape, or form.
I think that I was thinking there's a chance. That's how Lyra might retain.
I think it's possible that Bayley could go either way, though. I think there is a crazy scenario where Bayley aligns with Becky. Even though Becky's been like brutalizing her.
Bashing her, yeah.
You spent $100 just to text your friend. Great line.
So
Great
good.
Line.
By the way, you would love to see how the Twitter.
No, I wouldn't.
the Twitter, you know those the women's division fans on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know those. Oh my God! When that promo came out, oof! Think pieces. I love when I see that.
I love what
I don't read them. I just love to see it.
I love what Becky said, because I have to check myself on this about how like the men all the time get to kind of hold on to those glory days, and the women for some reason aren't allowed to.
Yes.
Like, she's right. We shouldn't be constantly like, they need to put him over. And I don't want to see her win the title. I don't think she wins the title. I'm going to go with Lyra Valkyria here. I think the title doesn't change hands here. But I'm not. I'm taking Becky.
God damn it. I was going to say, we're finally going to disagree.
No, because this is the backlash from WrestleMania. Lyra has to pay the piper here. Like, this is what Backlash is for. It's the Backlash from WrestleMania. And the Backlash from WrestleMania for Lyra is you brought Becky back to win those tag titles, and then you lost them the next night. So this is Becky's revenge on you. And then it goes into the summer Whether Lyra wins the title back from her, I don't know, because that's not how it happened when she won the NXT title from Tiffy. She ended up dropping it to Lyra. So I don't know I don't know how it plays out from there, but I definitely think that Becky is winning. Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah.
So, all right. So, and Harry agrees with us. He says Becky wins. Ron says, sorry, guys. I wonder if they're dragging their feet on MJF and Hurt Syndicate just for it to conclude with the Cedric Alexander debut and reunite with them. I don't think they're dragging their feet with it. I'll talk AEW here just for a second because, again, we have some of the matches. But I've enjoyed those segments, and I was soured on MJF.
Me too.
I think this little thing he's got going on with the Hurt Syndicate has been really good and entertaining, and they haven't had to have matches to do it. Imagine that. I like that he had to win over Shelton, and it wasn't just like a 1 week thing. Like MVP is obviously with him, but then he had to like work at Shelton, and now he's gonna have to work harder to get Bobby. I don't think Bobby ever happens with Bobby. I have a crazy scenario with that one where I don't think people would be happy with it, but I think it would make it for interesting, and I'll save it for myself just because we're not talking about that right now. But I personally have enjoyed it. That's what I was
saying.
Same. Harry says maybe a triple threat for the IC title at SummerSlam. Who would be? Oh yeah, Bayley, Becky, and Lyra. That's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea at all.
And then Becky. Ron says Becky. Becky did Lyra how Trish did her. Is that
interesting?
No, Lyra is not going to bring back Nikki Bella. Harry, get off that. She is never coming back. Next match, we will go to the 4-way for the United States Championship with your champion Jacob Fatu. Not I mean, versus LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest. They are being fed to slaughter because there is no way in hell Jacob Fatu is leaving Backlash without that championship. Bank on it, baby. So there hasn't been much feud to this. It's just been like match happened, interference happened. You're in my business. Now I'm getting into your business. And now they're just 4 men who will just want to rip each other apart. That's okay. And it's 4 dudes who are really good. I think this is going to be the match of the night. That's my opinion. I think it's going to be fantastic. Who do you think walks out of this match? Or better question. So you think Jacob Fatu's winning? Yes. Okay. Yes. Who do you think has the highest percentage to win outside of Jacob Fatu?
Probably LA Knight. Put
the title back on him.
More than anybody else. I think that Drew. We're at the point where Drew is, and I don't want to say that he's past, and Priest too. I think they're past the U.S. title. I think they're main eventers. They don't need to, drop themselves back down. I think LA Knight hasn't elevated himself up there, and I think I'd rather see LA Knight, continue with a run with that title than I would have the other 2 of those guys hold it. I will say this about the booking though. I do like that we mentioned that there aren't really any rematches, and the only people that were in a match at WrestleMania are in this Fatal 4-Way. And I do like that out of all of them, this is what they've kept going with, because I think that it's not a feud that needed to end at WrestleMania.
No.
I like that they combined all this together. I like everything about this.
LA Knight still chasing the title he lost. Yeah. Obviously, that makes sense. Drew and Damian were not finished with each other. That makes sense. Right. And they just ended up kind of colliding, and now it's like a big cluster mess. So, yeah,
I like that.
It's really good. You're saying LA Knight. I'm saying no to that one because I think I think it's very possible he's Money in the Bank winner.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
I think we're going to get that. So I will say I think Damian Priest, because then the Drew thing can continue, because he could be like, I have a title again, and then I could piss Drew off and really fuel him to go after Damian Priest more and put some shine and highlight on that United States title, because it was on LA Knight, who was a big deal. And I think if you're going to continue to treat that title with any kind of respect, you have to keep that up. And Jacob's not losing it. That's not happening.
Yeah, that's not happening.
In a strange world of just nonsensical stupidity, if we are taking it off of Jacob Fatu, I think Damian Priest makes the most sense for that reason. Just because, again, Damian Priest is a good champion. I've always liked him as a champion. He won the United States title before, and he had a great run with it. And his feud with Damian Priest would Drew McIntyre would be great. Harry says he wants Drew to win, but Jacob's going to win. Lou says Fatu, finger up. Ron says it's too early for Jacob to lose the belt. You're right. Forever could happen, and it would still be too early for that man to lose a belt.
Yeah, I agree.
Harry says Drew's never won the U.S. title, so yeah, that could be something like, again, that drives him to really want to beat Damian Priest if he won it. So, Ron brings up a point. A secondary champion can be Money in the Bank. RVD had the IC title, and you're right. You can. Yeah. I just don't prefer it that way. That's just a personal preference. That's all.
So, this is a way far in advance kind of a thing, but I've been thinking about Money in the Bank because it's obviously coming up next. We're talking about it, and I'm thinking about who the best fit on the roster is. And there was a part of me that I think everybody's kind of thinking that in December, Cody and Cena are going to fight again. Last chance for the soul of the WWE. Either Cody gets the belt from Cena or Cena retires with it. I think that there's a chance that that's not even where they're going. I think that there's a chance that Cody comes back and he's going to, really want to take that title back from Cena.
Yeah.
But he gets transferred over to Raw. And then he can't. And I think that that's a really good starting point.
Whoa.
I think it's a really good starting point to then put Cody back onto a different path. Now he's got to, Jey Uso's the champion. Who knows who will be champion when Cody, goes over there. He's got to earn his stripes and work his way back up on a new show. So that match in December can be against maybe somebody else, maybe, I don't know, a certain cult of personality to fight for the very soul of the WWE. And Punk loses. And then when all looks grim and everything looks terrible, here comes LA Knight to cash in the Money in the Bank to take the title back.
Yeah, and then you can listen to the crash out of the internet community going like, "Why would John Cena put over a 40-year-old man?" Blah, blah, blah. Shut up. I'm getting mad at people when they ain't even done it yet
because what's going to happen. Yeah. But my thing is that builds that makes LA Knight. He's the made man. He saves the WWE. He
has the ability to do it.
He does, and that's my point. That's my point.
Yes. I think Cena's turning face by SummerSlam. That I think he's heel until he's done. I truly believe that.
I think there'll be a point.
I think he's going to do it differently. Like, I think he saw what Daniel Bryan did. And again, Daniel Bryan did it to kind of troll people because it's like, yeah, I'm just going to go out like getting murdered on TV and that's going to be great. And it was. I really enjoyed it. And I think Cena is going to kind of take a little page from that and say, I'm going to fully commit to this heel thing. And he can't just turn face because it's comfortable. I think he has to ride this out and go with the flow of it and do it. But that since we're talking about John Cena, we can go to the next match. Let's get these comments out of the way real quick. Ron says, I still want champion versus champion, Cena versus Jey. You'll get it, I think, if they still do that one where they do like champ versus champ for the grand champ. That really
crown jewel,
ugly belt.
That happened already, I think, right? It happened earlier this year.
No.
Did it happen in January or February or something? Maybe I'm wrong. No, so you might be right. But no, they're not going to Saudi Arabia this year.
Okay, so I guess that's not going to happen. Yeah. So maybe it doesn't. Brooklyn Joker says, hey, thanks for joining. He says, I see Solo turning on Jacob at Backlash. Maybe. I would say
hey, you know what? That's a good shout. If they do want to end that title reign, that's the way to do it.
It's never going to end.
I don't want it either, but if they're going to do it, that might be the way.
And it says Jimmy is pre-annoyed. Yes, people tend to do that to me. I get pre-annoyed with people all the time. And Albert saw what I said about Cena at the turn in the DM. Okay. That was in 2024, Gunther Cody. Yeah, I thought it was going to be a yearly thing, Harry, and that's why I said you'll see it again. But I guess not. I don't know. I'll look into that, and I guess we'll talk about it next week. But
I read somewhere they're not going to Crown Jewel at all this year, which is strange. But yeah.
Oh, is that Perth? Perth is going to be Crown Jewel, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's in Australia. Yeah, but they're not going to Saudi for it, which is weird.
Okay. Well,
so maybe we'll get the Grand Championship there. But I thought the Grand Championship was just for Saudi.
It is just for Saudi. So
yeah, so
it's not going to happen. We're talking about something that's never going to happen. Yeah, there we go, Harry. I figured out before I got the advice, the information, but we both got there. Thank you, Harry. So let's talk about this last match because we are at the hour mark, and it is the match we were just talking about. It was the guy we were just talking about. Undisputed WWE Championship, John Cena versus Randy Orton. I don't think there's anything about these two we haven't said in the past.
Yeah.
This
Fun
is
build.
This is a nostalgic match, which I'm all for. I love nostalgia. Do we think Randy Orton's leaving Backlash with that title?
No.
No chance.
I don't think that there's even a little bit of a chance.
How does Randy Orton lose?
I think that I think that Cena, if he's going to be a heel for this long, needs somebody with him. I don't know who.
Not Travis Scott.
No. I think that there's got to be
Lou is already mad.
There's got to be somebody with him, right? You know, like there's got to be some way. And honestly, if you're The Rock and you can employ the services of somebody to watch the back of a guy like John Cena, who do you get? And in my opinion, I think Omos becomes John Cena's heater for this run. I think he comes, he interferes,
piss Lou off with this one.
I just look. There's a part of me that thinks that I thought they were going to do it with Dom and they didn't do it. So if they're not going to go that route, I think this is the perfect thing for it, right? I mean, he's literally. It's hard, in my opinion. It was hard for me to picture who is going to be John Cena's bodyguard, because that's really who it has to be, right? It's got to be the person who's going to be taking bullets for Cena. If you're going to get a guy who's going to be that's the point. He's so big, he's not going to. It makes John Cena even more dominant that he has an even bigger, more dominant guy in his corner.
So I'm just going to throw out a wild thing here. I think it would be I'm just going to say it because I think it would just be the greatest troll job of all time with The Rock. I think it would be absolutely hilarious if The Rock showed up at Backlash. just to poke people like, yeah, I'm still involved. Even though he's like, yeah, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. They're there for themselves. Then he's like, no, I'm not. And then it's what, like, I think it would be hilarious. I wouldn't put it past The Rock. Like, he just shows up randomly. So
yeah, I mean,
why not? And man, screwing Randy Orton over in St. Louis, that'll be mega heat. It'll be really good. Harry here says Cena beats Orton with I don't know if he beats him with RKO, but help from Seth's group. I can see that happening because Rock had ties to Heyman. He had the two phones, and then Rock has ties to Cena. So to tie them together and make this thing, and then Heyman could be on both shows at that point. He's with Cena, and then he's also with Rollins and Breaker. I think that's a cool thing to do. And then at pay-per-views when they're combined, it's like that's a superpower. Like, I think it's possible. I'm not throwing it out to say I'll be your shield, John. I don't know if Seth would want to be the second guy in anything, though.
That's my big thing. That's why I don't think it happens, because it diminishes the star power. They're trying to make him on that same level as a Cena or Roman. Like, they're trying to really, that's what they're doing with this. So
imagine Nick Aldis screwing Orton. It's not Ron. It's a crazy theory, but it's not a crazy theory because he pissed off Aldis, and Aldis wants to get payback on him because obviously the fines didn't phase him. So this is a crazy theory.
He's the general manager. It's good for business for John Cena's retirement run for him to still be champion. And it would be very interesting to have Paul Heyman be the devil in his ear telling Aldis this. If Heyman was, like doing on both shows. I don't think it happens, by the way. But even still, Rock could be the guy to do it, If
Aldis does this, it gives Cena a mouthpiece on TV every week for the times he's not there.
Right.
And it gives Aldis something to sink his teeth into, which he's capable of doing. Like, he's been a great GM.
He has been.
And maybe it leads to him getting back in the ring, because I
would love to see
that happening sooner or later. So
why wouldn't you,
Hey, I don't see it happen, Ron, but if it did, I wouldn't be shocked, and it would be great. So
it's a good shout, yeah.
Hey, let your imagination run wild, Ron. He says, sorry, but I think I have quite the imagination. Let it run wild. Have fun with it. That's why we're fans. We're here to enjoy it and be like, oh, what's going to happen? This could happen. This could happen. Embrace it, man. I do. Like, you hear me spout out the craziest of theories all the time. So,
hey, I thought the guys that are in the main event right now, in this match that's happening right now, we're going to unite together at WrestleMania. So, I mean, hey, we all have our theories.
Never apologize for being a fan, man. I don't accept your apology. But I do like that you let your imagination run wild. And with that, we're both taking Cena then, yes?
Yes.
We didn't disagree one single time.
Not one match.
That's
Crazy.
fine. I'm not even keeping track this time, so we just had a good time. With that, it is now time to bid our adieu and say goodbyes. So make sure you tune in this Friday over at the Friday Nitro Review channel. The Friday Nitro Review will be back this week. We had sickness last week. It didn't happen. So we will be back on track this week. So make sure you tune into that. If you're following us, if you're listening to us for the first time, please follow, like, all that good stuff, subscribe, however you're listening to it. I really appreciate it. I think Albert appreciates it as well.
Very much so.
And we'll be back next week. I don't know exactly what we're talking about, but we are definitely going to be throwing in Chad Gable and El Grande Americano, the speed champion of the world. That's happening next week. Something else, Backlash. Backlash?
Backlash from Backlash?
Yes, we'll be talking about that.
Yeah.
And probably Dirty Daddy Dominic Mysterio. And since we didn't get enough Chelsea Green in this week, we'll get some in next week. So it's
still too soon. Okay. She was
happening.
grieving this past week. You saw, she was wearing the whole all black. We're still in grieving mode. When we're ready to, to get out, we'll be there.
Yes. I just recently framed my autograph that I got from the Queen. It's right here next to the desk. So we'll definitely talk about her next week as well. There's some bullet points for you to look forward to. And with that, Ron says, I love you guys. And Groot voice, I am Groot. So thank you very much. And Groot. No, Harry, no Nikki Bella, unless you bring her up. And then I'm going to shut it down like I always do. But thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I've rambled on long enough. It is time to say goodbye. I didn't come up with anything other than toodles, so you'll get it for one more week. Toodles.